on the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the nation's sharpest opinion, there are some foolish and malicious and anti-national YouTubers who hope that what happened in Nepal will happen in India. We have to be very careful about them. This video is about why you should be very careful about them. One particular rubbish YouTuber has been putting out videos saying KP Chor, Desh Chor. The statement there are an expression and similar to the words used by Rahul Gandhi. This rubbish YouTuber, ladies and gentlemen, hopes that what happened in Nepal will happen in India because maybe this is what he wishes to do. Maybe these rubbish YouTubers want to use anti-democratic means to bring down an elected government in India. We should be very careful of them. Another really stupid YouTuber who lives in Europe says that it's not a conspiracy, it's not a regime change operation, it is genuine. How do you know sitting in Germany what is and what is not? You have no idea. You sit behind a chroma screen, make videos, put out all fake news and make a lot of money on it, and then do videos about the lavish life and holidays you are having in Dubai. What do you know about what's happened in Nepal? So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be very careful about these malicious anti-national YouTubers. What they will not tell you is that there is an American angle behind what has happened in Nepal. And sorry, Americans, if you're watching this, you don't like it. But in 2022, your regime change expert, Samantha Powers, is on record. She's the administrator of US aid. She says, I'm giving $60 million to strengthen democratic institutions and civil society in Nepal. Why? What is your interest? Where was the money pumped? Let me tell you. Strengthening inclusive democracy in Nepal. Ladies and gentlemen, this country, the United States of America, gives nothing for free. There is no free lunch. They give another 20 million for inclusive democracy. They give 18.5 million for civil society and media. So they are spending money on media. Be very careful, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, the US Embassy invited some people to its embassy after the BJP got 240 seats. They got so excited. They started training people on how to improve Indian society by sitting in the US Embassy and taking money from them. Ladies and gentlemen, they gave more money for bolstering local elections. What is the need for the Americans to bolster local elections? There have been stark revelations I wish to share from you of the American strategy for Nepal, which we must remember in the context of what has happened. In a publicly available report published by the US State Department, which is CIA, State Department, etc., titled Integrated Public Strategy, which reads approved April 1st, 2022, they brought out some bizarre mission priorities for a foreign mission or an embassy. They had a 4-year plan for Nepal, right? And they say we will support Nepal's democratic reform agenda. In other words, they want to change the government there. They talk about planting the idea of corruption. They say Nepal's challenges are many if left unaddressed: endemic corruption, ongoing and uneven transition to a federal structure, which means they want to control how the government will be formed. The smoking gun is their mission objective number 3.2. They say Nepali public opinion, look at their words, Nepali public opinion is shaped through robust government, civil society and private sector engagement that is free from censorship, repression and resilience against state-sponsored disinformation and coercion. So they say the elected government is bad and we, the Americans, are going to spend money to buy out the media. Then there is a direct attack on the sovereign government. It says US engagement will mitigate Nepal vulnerabilities to state-sponsored coercion that runs counter to democracy. So they say the elected democratic government is not democratic. But we sitting in Washington will teach Nepal how to be democratic. Now finally, it has a part which is about looking for stooges. They say we want partnerships with influential leaders and groups, key populations, government, civil society, so that we can influence opinion among Nepalis for greater action to become a sovereign, prosperous society based on shared values. Simple English, ladies and gentlemen. They say we will spend money to buy stooges in Nepal. We will give money to these stooges. We will use these stooges to subvert their country. We will look for Mir Jafars and Jaichans. We will look for traitors in Nepal who will betray the cause of the Nepali people. And who did they choose, ladies and gentlemen? The leading front runner and reportedly the Gen Z choice, to lead the interim government is Sushila Karki, Nepal's first female chief minister, who faced an impeachment motion in 2017 from the Maoist-centered Nepali Congress after the court overturned a government appointment. In a turn of events, the motion was withdrawn due to public pressure and a Supreme Court interim order that reflects the public appeal she commands. Now, viewers, I want to talk about what has happened in Nepal, and I want to link it to what happened in Indonesia. Incidentally, you have seen the same things happening in Indonesia. And incidentally, the US aid had a 5-year initiative in Indonesia at the same time, in 2022. They called that an effective, efficient and strong government program. They gave $38.5 million to Indonesia. And they say we will use this to improve things in Indonesia. It was simply an attempt to buy over influence, buy over social media, buy over influencers, ladies and gentlemen. And we all know what has happened in Indonesia. And today the students of Nepal are saying we had the Indonesia model planted on us. The same students who were caught in the middle of all the violence are saying that someone used the Indonesia logic on us. Look at these pictures in Indonesia and ask yourself, $38 million in Indonesia, the Americans created chaos there. $600 million in Nepal, they created chaos there. So $640 million used by US aid has come to use. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we know clearly that there are multiple US aid reports on Nepal, US aid reports on Nepal that talk about strengthening electoral processes with elaborate citations from the National Democratic Institute. This is the same program that the US Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, on February 16, 2025, DOGE, then run by Elon Musk, had said that US aid gave $486 million into this particular center, CEPPS's election-related activities worldwide. Let me read out one excerpt from the 2017 report. This report of the US aid says that NDI, the National Democratic Institute, has directly or indirectly influenced decisions largely through the training. They have talked about the impact on Nepalese laws. But when the same Nepalese government refused to bow down on the social media law, the US corporate deep state showed its might with the so-called students' Gen Z insurrection. These events that have happened in Nepal are not in isolation. The deep state is watching India. This is a message for India. See what we did in Colombo, when Colombo went too much towards China. See what we did in Bangladesh, when Bangladesh was leaning towards India, leaning towards China, refused to give us St. Martin's Island. See what we did in Pakistan, when Imran Khan spoke about the cipher and questioned the US spies and the CIA. And see now what we have done in Nepal. See what we have done in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, here in recent memory, I'm talking about 5 countries where regime change operations have either been in transition, are happening, or have been successful. And therefore, it becomes your responsibility, with all the evidence I'm putting before you, to be very watchful of what some people want to do in Bharat. Their eventual agenda is on Bharat. We have many traitors in India. And some of these people, you'll find videos in US campuses going around, fellowships, traveling, having the good life. Ask them, where do you get your money from? Ask these influencers who put out videos, did you ever go to the US embassy? Were you part of a training program? Have you been funded by the American government? Are you presently collaborating with them? And then see what line they took on CA. Then see what line they took on the Delhi riots. Then see what line they took on the farmers' protest. Then see how they said that the desecration of the tricolor on the Red Fort was not important. The burning of our national capital was not important. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mir Jafars in the media are at work with foreign countries and foreign governments to try and influence democratic processes in India. As an Indian journalist, As the chief of India's most influential news network, the Republic Media Network, I call upon all right-thinking citizens to create a watchful campaign. Watch out over the next few days. The government does its job. We believe that you need to be watchful of people who are trying to spread doubt in your mind about the country's democratic institutions because they can't win an election. That's why they say, let's seed some doubt. We haven't been able to create a process of dividing the country through religion, Waqf protests, through caste census campaign, through language. Therefore, let us plant a seed of doubt in the minds of the people of India, the world's largest and most successful democracy. The democracy itself does not exist. And then let's make a hashtag of it. And then let's start saying that there'll be a hydrogen bomb, there'll be an atom bomb, there'll be a nuclear bomb that we are going to explode. And then start saying that India was never a nation in the first place. Then start saying that the fire will spread, the fire will spread. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not insurrectionary language. This is language that is directly against the interests of our country. Are you going to be quiet and say it's all right, this is democracy? To those people who are now talking about vote chori, I asked them, where were they when Suresh Kalmadi's name came in the CWG scam? Where was Rahul Gandhi? During the 2G scam, the Devas Isro scam? Where was he? He told me he was not in operation during the 1984 riots and yet said that he was born into the system, that he's been part of the system. Ladies and gentlemen, I call upon all political parties in India to respect the institutions of this country, including the Congress party. And I call upon all right-thinking citizens of India not to allow some malicious, doubtful YouTubers, many of them sitting in foreign countries, to plant a seed of doubt in your mind about India's democracy. Today, the people of Nepal, even those students, are regretting the kind of killings and mass violence that have happened. And yet we have YouTubers in India who are saying it's very good that media organizations have been burnt down. It's very good that people have been killed. Let people be killed. This can happen in India too. Where is their sense of social responsibility? Do these YouTubers not even have a pretense of decency? I also call upon all the people of India to start investigating whether these YouTubers have foreign links. You see, nothing comes for free. The awards they get, the travel they have, the business class flights they take, this hopping from Germany video one day to an America video the next day is very expensive. Who's funding them? Remember, viewers, that when there was a protest against a nuclear power plant in India, which was essential for our democracy, it was eventually found by none other than the Republic Media Network that money had been channelized to some of the leaders of these protests through so-called fellowships in unknown American universities. So connect the dots. When I say people have the urban Naxal tukre mindset, I mean it. And what I'm saying is that, have we not seen enough? Do we want to see more? Have you not seen people defending Afzal Guru? Have you not seen people defend the Tukre gang who said, Bharat tere tukre honge, inshallah, inshallah, and today Kanhaiya Kumar roams around on a Congress leader? Have you not seen enough, ladies and gentlemen? Have you not seen Deepika Padukone weeping and shedding tears with the same people on the JNU campus as part of what I think was a publicity campaign for a movie? Have you not seen the violence during the CAA protests? And ask yourself that if COVID had not been an interruption, where would that violence have gone? Had reality not hit the people of this country with the Pahalgam attack, where would the anti-Waqf protests have gone? Would anybody who talks about mobocracy and statocracy now have taken responsibility? How does Rahul Gandhi say a fire will spread, a fire will spread? Is this the language to use for a responsible political leader? A leader of the opposition who says a fire will spread, I'll explode a hydrogen bomb. This is not serious language. This is terrible conduct. This is public misconduct, ladies and gentlemen. This is the misuse of our democracy. I believe it is the responsibility of every elected leader here to strengthen the institutions of this country. And if you have a doubt, sign an affidavit. Have the courage to say that I have proof and I will stand by it and take punishment if what I'm claiming is false. But no, you want to run away through the back alley at that point of time and say, I will not file an affidavit, I will not go to the Supreme Court. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have deep sympathies with the students in Nepal. But if we are to make this country great, if this is to be a Viksit Bharat, this streetocracy is not the answer. I also believe that if there are people in India who do not want to see Narendra Modi as Prime Minister of India, they should defeat him in 2029, if they can, or defeat the BJP in 2029, if they can. That's all right. But to try and threaten, to turn democracy on its head, destroy democracy by questioning it, instigate violence and step back later when people are killed, exactly what happened in Nepal. Now, the same people who instigated violence are stepping back saying, we don't know how so many people were killed. We didn't expect this to happen, but it did happen. And to deny the role of a foreign deep state, which is presently doing everything it can, everything in its might to push back the Modi government on the tariffs issue, do you really believe that Trump will not use every card that he has, including USAID influence with social media influencers, to try and surround India with countries, have governments who are hostile to India's interests? Are we here to celebrate? Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you this, I was shocked when a former media advisor to a previous Prime Minister said in a YouTube video, what is wrong? Narendra Modi should have given Donald Trump what he wanted. Narendra Modi should have said that, yes, Mr. Donald Trump, you solved the bilateral issue. It was because of you that we stopped bombing Pakistan. This is actually a clip you should see, where you have a former media advisor, firm member of the Lutyens circuit, completely irrelevant today, seeking relevance by saying Narendra Modi should have bowed down to Donald Trump. We should have also nominated him for a peace prize. That is the capitulating, spineless mentality of the previous government. And in this video, what I'm saying is this, that it is because this government does not have that capitulating, spineless mentality of the previous government that America will do everything it can to encourage people who will try to do a Nepal in India. But we, the nationalists of India, will stand back and question them. If you can, I request you all to spread this video. This is not a warning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a projection in my mind of what can happen in India. But since we know what can happen, it is our responsibility to fight it at every step. Thank you.
Day 4 of anarchy in Nepal, and the capital city of Kathmandu is still grappling with the crisis. No sight of normalcy. With the Prime Minister missing in action, disposed president and political leadership beaten on the streets. It's the faceless Gen Z leadership calling the shots in Nepal under army rule. They too seem confused. Look at this. Today, the so-called representatives of this coup held a meeting to push for a new interim leader, with former Chief Justice of the Nepalese Supreme Court, Justice Sushila Karki, topping the list. But outside the army headquarters, these were the scenes. But there seems to be more than what meets the eye in the so-called uprising in Nepal. Republic investigation shows US aid and America's millions pumped into Nepal since 2023. $600 million in 1 year alone. With nearly $60 million pumped into the Himalayan nation to just quote-unquote strengthen democratic institutions and civil society in Nepal. Much like Bangladesh, the imprints of foreign interference are all over Kathmandu. Similar designs are at play in Indonesia since last couple of months. With violent clashes between a young mobilized crowd and the authorities. The locations change, the intent doesn't.
I'm also not sure who was the mastermind behind this. The place was fixed, the time was fixed, but the person behind it or the mastermind behind it, I'm also unknown who did it. People sent somebody to do violent things that they were not supposed to do. So yeah, there was infiltration for sure, without a doubt.
And on cue, the anarchy backers are cheering in India.
देखिए जड़ें इतनी मजबूत हैं कि हमारी डेमोक्रेसी की जड़ कट नहीं पा रही है और संविधान बदल नहीं पा रहे हैं, वरना नेपाल जैसी स्थिति यहाँ भी होती है और चर्चा भी हो रही है कि क्यों नहीं भारत में ऐसा हो रहा है। तमाम युवा लोग चर्चा भी कर रहे हैं कि महंगाई तो वहाँ से ज़्यादा है, बेरोजगारी वहाँ से ज़्यादा है, भ्रष्टाचार का आलम तो इतना है कि क्या है, लेकिन जो हमारा संविधान की ताकत है और जो संवैधानिक संस्थाएं हैं उसकी ताकत है और जो डेमोक्रेसी लोकतंत्र की जड़ें बहुत गहरी हो गई हैं, वरना परिस्थितियां कुछ मामले में परिस्थितियां श्रीलंका, बांग्लादेश, नेपाल से भी ज़्यादा खराब है यहाँ।
The entire machinery has suddenly come alive, from YouTubers to political allies, all echoing one sentiment. They want anarchy, but we say never in India.
I call this group deep state influencers, and my question tonight is time to expose hashtag deep state influencers. I would like to start with Smita Prakash, ladies and gentlemen, editor-in-chief of ANI and a person with tremendous experience in covering foreign policy. And I welcome Ishkaran Bhandari, Sanjeev Srivastav, senior journalist Pankaj Sharma, and Professor Santosh Mehrotra to this debate. Smita, a lot of money was pumped into Nepal. That's the number that is coming out right now. 500, 600 crores to buy out influence. And a lot of money was also spent in Indonesia. Your thoughts on the evidence that is now coming out?
I won't comment on the evidence as of now, and also need to say that it's up to the people of Nepal to pick who they want to succeed only. But the political instability is why people are joining the dots and doing this investigation, which you were saying. The reason is because Nepal has become a playing ground for large powers. There's the Millennium Challenge Corporation, I think. Those are the projects which come under it. Then there's the Belt Road investments. Each of these moves which have been done by the superpowers, the current superpowers, the big two, they are seen through the lens of strategic rivalry which is being played out whether in Indonesia, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and that's when you see this deep state interference coming in these countries, or at least people are coming to that conclusion. And the fragile governance in these countries that leaves them vulnerable to external influence rather than being anchored in some kind of sovereign decision making. Just to sum it up, there is difference between what has happened in Indonesia, what's happened in Bangladesh, and what has happened in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, it was student-led, yes, like Bangladesh and like in Nepal, but there it was basically because of the economic collapse which has happened. In Nepal, we've seen this happen in 1990. We've seen it happen in 2006. It's mobilized around corruption scandals. In Sri Lanka, it was 2022. The scale is different. In Bangladesh, there is the Islamic element which comes in also. In Nepal, it was earlier about dismantling the monarchy. This time it is about dismantling elected government. There are similarities and there are differences. But
there are a lot of similarities,
The
Meeta.
part is more disturbing.
Yeah,
The pathetic comments by politicians. I won't be gracious to call them leaders. They are just random politicians hoping for Nepal-like situation in India, hoping for vandalism and anarchy and murder because they can't win electorally, so they wish that on India. Horrible.
No, but it's not only politicians. Why blame the politicians alone? It is also the YouTubers. And there are YouTubers who are now saying that this must happen in India. They are saying it could happen in India. They are saying if it has happened in Nepal, why is it not happened in India? They are saying there are similarities between Nepal and India. They are saying the kind of slogans that have been used in Nepal are similar to the slogans that have been used by Rahul Gandhi. They are saying that this is absolutely local. They are wishing this happens, and they are wishing that there are violent clashes, and they are thinking that why is there no escalation? Now, viewers, these YouTubers, we know all these YouTubers, I'm not naming them, Sanjeev, but it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. And you're saying, oh, we are not really doing it, we are just throwing an idea. Now, suppose some of these YouTubers are getting money through American trips, through visits to American universities or foreign awards that are eventually funded by America or which are sourced back to funding from Ford Foundation or the others. If that emerges, should we be blind to it? Or should we begin to ask, Sanjeev, that is America controlling these YouTubers?
Hi Arnab, good evening. I've been listening to your very strong and forceful presentation, not just for the last 25 minutes or so, but I also listened to Ambassador Sybil and your other panelists from 8:30 to 9. So very interesting. You were much more somber, if you may, in the last debate. But see, any YouTuber or any leader or anybody who wishes the same to happen in India, that is absolutely condemnable, number one. Number two, we don't have sufficient evidence, but we do know how American deep state works. We do know that they have their covert agencies. We do know that they have their own axe to grind. And the world is their playground, unfortunately, and they've tried this stunt time and again in different countries. And Nepal, particularly, like Smita was just suggesting, or it has become some kind of a competing space between China and the US for varying reasons. We were actually pushed to a clear number 2 vis-a-vis China in Nepal in the last few years. So there was a certain section in India actually feeling joyous about what's happening in Nepal, thinking that a pro-Chinese establishment is going out, which, to be honest, is true. Oli was as pro-China as you can get.
No, but that's not the question. If he's pro-China, he should be removed. If people want to be anti-China, they should remove him through democratic means, not like this.
So
I think, just a pause. I'll just take one line. Just one line and then hand it over to you. I won't speak. See, Sanjeev, same thing happened in Bangladesh and same thing also happened in Colombo. Colombo leaned a lot towards China. We all know that. We all know the circumstances that led to what happened in Colombo. But that is not the question at work here. Whether China should have been Colombo, whether they were in a debt crisis, whether prices had gone up, whether their currency was unviable, that is not the issue. The issue is the acceleration and the nature of the protests and the chaos in the capital. Please limit yourself to that. Did you not see that during Shaheen Bagh? Was Shaheen Bagh not an attempt to bring down a government?
I don't think Shaheen Bagh could have brought down a government. It was a protest. It was, well, some people agreed with it, some people did not.
Really?
By that yardstick, and I don't...
Really?
I know I'll be creating a hornet's nest, but by that standard, then we should not be talking and thinking of Jayaprakash Narayan as a savior.
No, I'm not talking. Greta Thunberg is not Jayaprakash Narayan. One minute.
Revolt.
Greta Thunberg is not Jayaprakash Narayan. And Jayaprakash Narayan, allow me to counter you. Jayaprakash Narayan did not get a $1 million advertisement at the US Super Bowl like there was during the farmers' protests. I dare say, ask you today, people of India, open your eyes. Who paid the money to do $1 million campaign during the most expensive tournament, the US Super Bowl, for Indian farmers? Is Greta Thunberg an Indian citizen? Come on, Sanjeev. We have to do our duty, Sanjeev, to the country.
So, hello, Arnab.
No, hello to
Arnab, you can't counter my one line by 50 lines. Allow me to complete, no? I was saying by that logic, anybody who is calling for an armed revolt, which JP did, and then we had emergency,
who is
Jayaprakash
Narayan? Who is your modern day Jayaprakash Narayan, bhai?
So, no.
Who is your modern day Jayaprakash Narayan?
And there is no modern...
Has there been imposition of emergency?
Okay.
आप क्या compare कर?
Allow me to complete.
Who has imposed emergency?
भाई मैं तो आपको एक बात कह रहा हूँ. If you allow me to speak,
I'll allow you to speak.
So I'm saying any kind of anarchy, this kind of mobocracy, street violence, all this is condemnable.
So why does Rahul Gandhi keep saying आग फैलेगी, आग फैलेगी, आग फैलेगी, आग फैलेगी?
100% condemnable.
क्या आग फैलेगी? कौन सी आग फैलेगी?
But allow me to complete. But in the name of quelling mobocracy or fearing street violence, you cannot disallow genuine opposition dissent.
Who is stopping genuine opposition dissent?
I don't think we have crossed that bridge.
We haven't. You tell me. Okay.
So nothing of that kind is likely to happen in India.
Your nice, sagacious.
Nothing of this kind is likely to happen in India.
Oh, you know something. I'll tell you one thing, Sanjeev. You and I live in this world. I tell you one thing, if Haryana was not a BJP government, I'm talking real stuff, if Uttar Pradesh was not a BJP government, if the borders of Noida from western Uttar Pradesh were not on both sides, if there was not a BJP government, right, then if you allow these protesters to enter into Delhi, let me tell you, Pandara Park is not going to be safe. You want this to happen, you live so close, and yet you've lived all your life in Delhi.
We still have a BJP government in Haryana and UP.
I live in the real world.
Have BJP governments there, in Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. So we are safe. So we are safe in your real world. We are
you
safe.
Can't contain yourself.
We still have the same governments.
You have to understand there are people who are trying to provoke violence. My biggest concern, day and night, my concern is today. I call upon all Indian citizens, make it your biggest concern that some people who cannot win elections may try to instigate violence in your country. Ishkaran.
Arnab, the problem is not that there are some people hoping to do Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh or Nepal. The problem is there are some people actively working to do it. So we are on a very different footing. And there are two aspects to this. One is the external aspect. What is the security consideration of what happens in Nepal, Bangladesh? Unfortunately, we are not geographically blessed, and neither are we in a position of doing a Monroe Doctrine of 1823 that Western Hemisphere is ours and no European colonial power should enter. We are not at that stage, but we have to work for it. But the problem is in India, take an example of national security. Nicobar Islands should have been developed as a vital national strategic asset in 1960s, 70s, and we have people objecting to it right now. Imagine any other nation having such a strategic landmass and not making it the most important part of their national defense. But we have people objecting to it on one reason or the other. We had people objecting to widening of corridors, not wanting defense equipment to reach the mountains or the border areas, not wanting to develop infrastructure there. That's the wider problem. Now let's come to the problems of how these protests are funded. Do you remember when FCRA norms were tightened and NGOs were put under scrutiny, how the entire ecosystem erupted? Because that is how money flows in, and money is being printed. Dollars are cheap to print no matter which country does it, and you can flood a system, and there are enough people who for money will do anti-national activities and join it with people who are ideologically anti-national. So FCRA norms were tightened. Thank God at that time Supreme Court said there is no fundamental right to receive foreign money. You will have to comply with the law. What is happening in Nepal? What is happening in all my sympathies? Have any protest. You are an independent nation. Whosoever has to come into power should come into power. But when mobs start burning people, beating people, India had an experience where India felt it was very corrupt. 2012, 2013, Arnab, you used to cover it extensively at that time. And what India did, it created a new party, Aam Aadmi Party, had an experiment. Whatever is the end of that experiment, we can see. But it gave power to a party which had governance experience and then repeated it. That is what a democracy does. That is what India does. Unless foreign money comes in. What was Shaheen Bagh?
Yeah.
Anybody who lives in Delhi knows what was Shaheen Bagh, how Delhi riots happened, how if it flamed out, how if it had increased, we could have had important installations captured. And then who is to predict where it would have stopped? Who is to predict how we would have managed to control it?
And
it's only the common sense of India.
I find it
Because
very...
if it happened in India...
Yeah, I find it very interesting.
Never happened in India.
I find it very, very interesting, Santosh Mehrotra, because I live in the real world, I hope you do too, that around the time that there is this same kind of Gen Z fake uprising in Indonesia, you can have any reasons, Sonia Gandhi writes an article. I'm only using the word interesting, please. Sonia Gandhi writes an article against the 70,000 crore project to develop Nicobar, which, by the way, is 150 kilometers from Indonesia. I will always connect the dots. And I think it becomes incumbent on all of us to become realists, including you and me, Santosh, that we have to be careful and watchful. Suppose tomorrow, Santosh Mehrotra, something wrong is spread using social media, and the government of India says that this does not comply with India's requirements, and then calls upon the social media handles to comply. The social media handles don't comply, and within seconds, right, there is a social media campaign that leads to organized violence in India. It goes by the playbook. How do we know these kind of situations will not be replicated in India? Dr. Mehrotra, please.
Yeah, these kind of playbooks can be played out in India. They've been played out in Afghanistan by the United States. The same happened in Libya. The same happened in Syria. Across the globe, the United States, that is how the United States maintains its hegemony. The United States maintains its hegemony also by having 850 bases in nearly 80 countries around the globe. The good news is that the United States does not have any programs, or USAID doesn't have any major programs in India. Firstly,
they've run an influencer campaign to train Indian digital influencers in the US Embassy. Why? Is it some media school?
Well, please send me on my message on my phone or email any evidence you have to that effect.
Yes, I will send it to you right after this program.
Kindly do that.
I will show you the names of the people. The names of the people who have gone to the US Embassy. And let me tell you, not just that, for doing good, inclusive...
You call me to tell me, or you call me to ask to tell you something?
I am only, you asked for evidence, I said, sir, I'll give it to you. That's all. Why are you getting angry at me as usual?
बस तो फिर सुन लो ना, पर मैं
सुन रहा हूँ ना, मैं कुछ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, मैं
बड़ी मेहरबानी है भैया, बड़ी मेहरबानी है. हाँ, तो सवाल, क्योंकि आप मतलब आप बहुत लोगों को लपेट लेते हैं बेकार में. अब मैं लेट मी स्टार्ट किस किस को आपने नहीं लपेट लिया, मैं आपको याद दिला दूं.
I don't do all this lapetoing stuff.
Let me just say what I need to say. You lapetoed Kanhaiya Kumar. Now let me tell you what happened on the February 9th on 2016. Those were all doctored videos and they were doctored voices, and actually those were done
And the incident never happened.
through doctoring.
The incident never happened.
Yes, the incident did not happen.
Then nobody
Professor
happened. It
Goswami.
didn't happen.
Let me explain. Hear me out. 2 days later, Rahul Kamal, one of India's well-known anchors, showed that those voices were doctored and those videos were doctored.
You have problems with some other anchor, talk to them. But I am telling you,
listen,
I coined the phrase Tukde Tukde Gang. Do you know that I am the author of that hashtag? Tukde Tukde Gang. Tukde Tukde Gang. People who have a Tukde Tukde mindset.
You don't like to hear the facts.
I am hearing the facts. I am talking about people with Maoist mentality. Urban Naxal. Tukde Tukde Gang.
I was a professor in JNU. I was a student in JNU. I know
Good
the
for you.
students of JNU. And I know the... Please remind yourself and your viewers that JNU is still the top-ranked university in the country.
As far as I know,
Still,
Hindu College is the number one college in
despite all the damage
India.
that has been done by the current
Good for
regime.
you. What are you talking? I'm asking for your biodata, sir.
Thank you. Let me remind you that
Kahan
those
se
were
kahan? I'm talking about
videos.
Indonesia,
Rahul Kamal
Nicobar,
proved it.
Nepal, and you've gone to JNU. Everything you want to
Exactly.
drag
So why don't you
JNU.
let me carry on? May I carry on?
Please carry
if
on.
I might. Thank you very much.
I don't know where
sir.
you're going. Lapetoing, all this.
You are the lapetoer. You are the one who was lapetoing.
Oh, God.
So may I return to vote chori? You were lapetoing.
What vote chori? Yeah, go file an affidavit. Don't spread rumors on my program and
Rubbish.
be part,
There's no need
and
for
be
an
part of
affidavit
this
on when
fake
the data
news
is coming
campaign.
from
What
the
vote
ECI.
chori?
You
What
don't let
vote
me
chori?
speak. You want to speak over me. Why do you call me? Why do you call me if you want to continue to speak over me? You go ahead and speak. Bolo. अब वो बेचारा नहीं बोला है हमारा साथी उसको बोलने दो.
You see all these people.
You don't want me to speak.
I'll tell you, all the people from the Tukde Gang, after the video went out, came on my show.
Tukde. This is, we know who concocted this Tukde Gang, because that language was never used in JNU. So you come up with this and repeat Tukde Gang. Just because you keep repeating it doesn't mean that
Anyway,
it's
I'm
a
talking
fact.
about the deep state influencers, people who take money.
So deep state. I
learn
also began
journalism.
by talking about the deep state of which worked in Libya and Syria.
Correct.
And Afghanistan.
Correct.
Yeah, we know all that.
Correct.
Now, there is no US base in India. Correct. Let's just remind ourselves of that. India is now going to be the 4th largest economy by the end of this year. We are a big market. India, the US is still trying to court us through the trade deal that we will be a counter to China. So let's not equate us to Bangladesh.
I'm not equating
Nepal,
at all. I'm not
Sri
equating
Lanka.
at all.
You're confusing matters.
I'm not equating it. It's Salman Khurshid who said this could happen in India.
Can I ask you what the population of Nepal is? It's less than 30 million. That's 1/3 of the population of Bihar. 1/4. Arey yaar, matlab, just get your balance and sense of proportion in place. We know
Stop
that there
being
is
patronizing
a
to me. I can also give it back. You've been saying this for 20 minutes. Are you real? I'll get.
You
Pankaj
gave me
Sharma
2
here.
minutes to speak. You
Sir,
keep
1 minute,
talking
1 minute,
over
1 minute.
me.
You be
20
real. No,
minutes.
you be
are the one
real.
who spoke for
Sheikh
20
Hasina
minutes.
was a victim because the Americans had the nefarious design to surrender Saint Martin Island to build a base. It is not a conspiracy theory. It is 100% reality. People like you would say it was a conspiracy theory. You realize the facts here. I'm saying to the people of this country, it is a known fact.
I don't think you know the facts.
Yeah, it's a known fact. Don't be in your academic silo.
No. You don't know the facts, and I don't think anyone.
I think I know the facts better than you.
So you may pretend to.
Okay, anyway.
Send me the facts on this. Send me the facts on it.
Anyway, you see, I'm no fan of China, but Pankaj, China-Bangladesh relationship deepened under Sheikh Hasina. We all know it. Bangladesh became a part of Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar economic corridor, China-Myanmar economic corridor. It could have solved China's Malacca choke point problem. The Americans did not like it. They wanted to counter. They wanted St. Martin Island. I'm just saying these are not conspiracy theories. Pankaj, these are realities. Aren't they?
They are. So what is your point? See,
So my point is that don't let
say
the...
anything.
Yeah, okay, you carry on.
Let the stupid YouTubers say anything or hope for anything, and let the equally mindless media persons drag and blame from Nehru to Rahul Gandhi for everything.
No, I'm not mentioning Rahul Gandhi. Where did he come from? I didn't mention Rahul Gandhi.
You have been doing this since the beginning of this
No. I'm saying that he should not talk about if he has a problem with the intensive revision. Instead of trying to provoke people or use slogans, he should go to the Supreme Court through the legitimate process and file an affidavit. I am saying rumor mongering in any form is bad. And attempts to provoke the people of India into disbelieving in their institutions is bad.
Nobody is provoking. The reality is there is not even an iota of the danger of any such situation like Nepal in India.
No,
First of all, India is a very sensitive
happen.
society. Our youth are pragmatic and no-nonsense types. The roots of our democracy and our democratic institutions are so deep. Our cultural foundation is so profound. And moreover, we have a very robust political system with a sturdy government at the center and in states. Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka type incident should not cause any anxiety in a country like ours.
It's not about anxiety. Pankaj, I'm not anxious. I'm not anxious. I'm just telling people, I'm trying to spread awareness.
It is sickening to see some Mir Jafars in media unnecessarily spreading fear-mongering by misusing their largest media platforms to create an atmosphere as if India's opposition wants to promote anarchy. Some malicious elements are at work every evening in throwing a fake narrative, and people must actually be cautious of their designs. Terrible conduct, misconduct of a large section of so-called Indian mainstream media needs to be curbed actually.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. You obviously, Pankaj, look at the number of disinformation campaigns with this mainstream media you don't like as exposed. Let me tell you a few. CA fail ho gaya, Shaheen Bagh fail ho gaya, Waqf protest fail ho gaya, fake farmers protest fail ho gaya, Red Fort ko storm karne ki koshish fail ho gayi. Right? Sabut gang ka shak banana, Balakot ke baad fail ho gaya. So when you have a series of failures, people you will come on television and say we are very angry. I like to see your frustration come out. क्योंकि इतने कोशिश के बाद हमेशा failure होना तो ठीक नहीं है. You will be angry. You will come and say we must not have this media. So what media do you want, Baba? You want the media which goes to the American embassy and says to the American masters, please give us some money, sir. Teach us how to make videos that you will like so we can come back for some more money, sir. That's the video you like, is it, Pankaj? See, I gave it back to you. I am saying, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am saying jo real hai. Now, Smita should stop doing a balancing and tell us the truth. Smita, you know too much, you speak too little. You must now reveal what's going on out here. Smita, Prakash, you must tell people what's going on. You know a lot. You are the most informed journalist because you run the biggest news agency in the country. You do a very popular podcast. And we know you, Sanjeev Srivastav, you, me, we all know you.
No, aisa kuch nahi
My point is, don't be modest necessarily. You're on my program. The question is, Smita, is there an attempt to create a disinformation campaign in our country as force mobilizers to political parties? I'll leave it there. Because if I say anything more, Santosh Mehrotra will walk out.
Look, yeah, okay. I don't think so. I think he has more tolerance than that. Let's at least hope for that. While I agree with most of your panelists who say that, that we have a safety net in India, in the sense of we have a scale which is larger than Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal. We have diversity as compared to Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. And even our economic downturns which have happened in India, they have they've been, the strong institutions that we have, they respond and they take corrective action. So whenever there have been downturns, it hasn't resulted in an overthrow like it's happened in Sri Lanka. And there is a kind of a check because we have functional electoral democracy, which is able to withstand any kind of, deep state interference if there was any at any point of time. And I think we have seen in the past that it's been there. But to say that student-led agitations in India and the protests, they have not led to overthrow and cannot ever do it, I beg to differ. They do degrade the effectiveness of a government which has been electorally chosen. Let's not forget the JP movement in the 70s and the Mandal agitation of the 90s, the CAA protests, these were student uprisings. They do destabilize the governments indirectly. They did destabilize. Indirectly, they did it because ultimately when the government went, it went through various things. The emergency happened, Mandal Commission backlash happened, Anna Hazare movement happened, anti-corruption movement. Now, what happens is that those student movements, they degrade the government and then it gets channeled into electoral politics. Now, whether it is Arun Jaitley, Lalu Yadav, Kanhaiya, they were all student leaders, but they didn't overthrow the government. So somehow our institutions are strong, but then we cannot take it lightly that there are people who are trying to degrade our institutions, and they do get support from countries which are inimical to India's rise. So there is a movement which is constantly happening to surround India, like whether you want to call it a string of pearls or a chokehold, whatever it is, our rise upwards to become a greater economy. I'm not going to say Vishwaguru or any of these epithets, but our rise makes our neighbors as well as the superpowers uncomfortable. So you want to see that there are shadows and there are no shadows, or there is a foreign handed work. I do not put anything past any of these superpowers to fuel those unrests.
Absolutely. And I will wrap it up there. My only point here is that we must not try to normalize foreign influence. The students in Nepal are saying there was a mastermind, they don't know who it was. And buying social media influence is the cheapest way to carry out regime change. Least investment, maximum return for the deep state. All I'd say is be watchful, India. It's time to be very watchful. Smita, Ishkaran, Sanjeev, Pankaj, and my dear Professor Santosh Mehrotra, thank you very much. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'd like to just wrap by saying we have a statement that just came in from the incoming US ambassador to India, who says that Trump is a great friend of Narendra Modi, and when, in the case of Narendra Modi, Trump always praises Narendra Modi or something to that effect, which is another attempt at softening the situation between America and India. Let's see how things pan out. See you tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ. डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा. अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ. सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे.
माय बर्थडे गिफ्ट टू पापा, ये उनके पापा की पहली गाड़ी एक गैराज में पड़ी थी दार्जिलिंग में. तब इसे फाइनली घर लाया ना, तब लगा लाइफ में ग्रो किया. बुलाओ.
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो.
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है. निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें.
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो.
Sir, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, राजा और मसाला।
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
In the India Today Best Universities survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी, चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, राजा और मसाला।
Here we didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime, रहो बेफिक्र।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
इशारा समझ ले, बहके कदम ले चले किस गली, जानबूझ के है खोने की पड़ी। इशारा समझ ले, इशारा समझ ले, हवा में फिजा में नजारों में इशारे, संग हो जा तू मेरे, इशारा समझ ले, इशारा समझ ले, इशारा समझ ले।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, a group that called itself a Khilafat group, wanting to create a Khilafat movement in the country, has been unmasked, a major terrorist operation. Ladies and gentlemen, many startling facts coming to light. At 8:30 p.m. tonight, why the Anarchy Toolkit of the opposition will not work and be rejected in India. And at 9 o'clock tonight, Republic gets exclusive admission from an insider that it was a well-orchestrated and crafted coup that happened in Nepal. Radicalization is a reality. Religious radicalization is a reality. Islamic radicalization is a reality. And all radicalization, ladies and gentlemen, is bad. We must fight radicalization. And that is the theme tonight, as I tell you about a special cell of Delhi police and central agencies who have carried out coordinated raids across multiple states of the country. They have busted a Pakistan-linked terrorist module that was planning major attacks across the country. We must all be very watchful after Pahalgam. Pahalgam was not the first and will not be the last. What was the plan? According to the police, this was a pan-India terrorist module that has been busted. Their plan was to form a Khilafat-style group. They had their own teams. One was called Lashkar. And after that, they said they were taken through Jihad, Ghazwa-e-Hind type. The idea being to create an Islamist regime in India. And the idea was also to carry out some targeted killings. Ladies and gentlemen, when Republic reports this, we are told, you are against any particular community. No, we are not. We are against simply radicalization. Ladies and gentlemen, the police says that there was a resident of Ranchi called Ashar Danish. He was a central character. Then there were two people from Mumbai, Sufia Abu Bakr Khan and Aftab Ansari. The police also said that one Hufesa Yaman has been arrested from Nizamabad, Telangana, and one Kamran Qureshi from Rajgarh, Madhya Pradesh. This tells you about the scene and the scale of their planning. There was a big terrorist plot. They were caught making IEDs, weapons and cartridges were recovered from them. There was an NGO nexus, and an attempt was there to use the NGO card to carry out some kind of a cover for the masterminds behind this. The idea was to acquire land in India through the NGO route. They were trying to acquire land and then take that land to be a center for radicalization in India. This is not the first time, it is not the last. The problem is, in between the period between different terrorist attacks in India, we go soft as a country. We begin to believe everything is all right. And if anything, this proves that everything in India is not all right. Right now, there are people who are carrying out Islamist radicalization in our country, which is extremely dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. A similar module was busted last year. In fact, when we launched Republic, we did a story on radicalization and how there was an active ISIS recruitment camp going on from within radicalized sections who were leading it from Hyderabad and trying to indoctrinate these youth to send them through the Kashmir route to Pakistan. When we reported this, I still remember the All India Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin leaders came and said that this was false, and God tried to get those people released. One of the people we had exposed in the sting operation later was caught trying to plot a terrorist attack on Republic Day. Of course, at that point of time, the All India Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin was nowhere to be seen. In fact, a similar module Al-Qaeda terrorist module linked to the same Khilafat ideology had been arrested last year. At that time, 11 people had been arrested. Their targets were the same. And the people, the masterminds, were all a group of young men. Ladies and gentlemen, today the opposition should think. They should stop providing cover just in order to get a Muslim vote bank for this highly radicalized lobby. Whenever there is a targeting of radicalized youth or radicalized groups carrying out terrorist attacks, the lobby immediately jumps in to defend them. Salman Khurshid had said during Batla, of course, you all remember, Sonia Gandhi was so upset when she saw the pictures of Batla House that she said, Salman, don't show them to me. I feel like crying. You also remember, ladies and gentlemen, Congress ally Ittihadi Millat Council Party Chief Maulana Taqir asked for martyr status for terrorists and said, unko shaheedon ka darja milna chahiye. Ladies and gentlemen, Shashi Tharoor, who's trying his best to get a job in the BJP these days, is the same person who said hanging Afzal Guru was wrong. So the BJP should be very cautious of this person because he was against the hanging of Afzal Guru and nobody can forget it, though he's trying to get into the BJP now. Rahul Gandhi visited JNU. After protests were organized against the hanging of Afzal Guru, that is one thing where Rahul Gandhi and Shashi Tharoor are together. Those protesters called Afzal Guru a martyr. Digvijay Singh called Hafiz Saeed Sahib, addressed JNK as India-occupied Kashmir, referred to Osama bin Laden as Osama Ji. And in 2014, when 26 Naxals were killed in an encounter in Chhattisgarh, 24, Supriya Srinathya of the Congress was pained, saying, "Iski gehri jaanch honi chahiye." She wanted an investigation on the security forces. I will only conclude by saying, watch the pictures and consider what has happened. And remember, Pahalgam was not the first and not the last. If there are radicalized forces within, doesn't matter if they are Indian citizens, these people will have to be hauled up, will have to be hauled through the coals, prosecuted and punished. There is no other alternative. This is not the time for the country to go soft. We cannot allow it.
Ashar Danish, arrested from Ranchi. Aftab, arrested from Nizamuddin railway station. Abu Sufyan, arrested from the national capital. Kamran Qureshi, arrested from Madhya Pradesh. Huzayf Yemen, arrested from Telangana. 5 suspected ISIS members arrested. Their agenda, a Khilafat model in India. One of them is a postgraduate bomb expert. Ashar Danish, the alleged mastermind, codename Ghazwa, an expert in making bombs. Chemicals and weapons have been recovered from him. This gang recruited through social media, communicated with their handlers in Pakistan.
Big win to the Delhi Police Special Cell team. They have busted a terror network in the national capital. And so far, 5 persons have been arrested. And if you see, 2 persons have been arrested from Nizamuddin area. And 3 persons, if you see, 1 person has been arrested from Hyderabad, 2nd one from Ranchi, and 3rd one from Madhya Pradesh. And main accused in this case, the kingpin who hails from Ranchi, was in constant touch and direct touch with the Pakistani-based handler. And what we have got to learn from the sources that there were approximately 30 to 35 people who were involved in this entire racket.
The Delhi police have arrested the terror suspects just as 2 of the accused were boarding a train to Mumbai.
We can say so far what has emerged from investigation, Ashar Danish was the central figure of this group. He is quite educated. He is MA in English Honours. From him we have recovered a lot of incriminating materials which is used for making IEDs. He was directly in touch with all these characters. Abu Bakr Sufyan and Aftab Ansari, these were the 2 initial arrests which were made in Delhi.
The arrest, almost 1.5 months after Gujarat anti-terror squad arrested 4 others for alleged links to Al-Qaeda. Even in that case, the suspects were allegedly using social media to spread jihadi literature, active during Operation Sindoor. Radicalization is real, and India will have to act fast.
These are not innocent Muslim boys who are being targeted because of their religion. Abid Mir Magami, these are dangerous terrorists with an Islamist terrorist Khilafat mindset. They hope that India will become an Islamic nation. It will never be. But they want to use terrorism as a tool for it. Right? Syed Babar Ashraf Kichawi ji, I want to start with you. You're Secretary General of the All India Mohammadi Mission. What are you doing to fight Islamic radicalization? What are you doing to fight Islamic radicalization? Instead of being in denial about it and saying that, Muslims are being targeted.
Arnab, very first is that when you are talking Islamic radicalization, it's very painful. You can say, yes, radicalization is there, especially few international organizations are working to woo the Indian Muslims, not Indian Muslims, but a lot of people. You may say there was a lady in Hisar, that is Jyoti Molatra. There was a Satyendra Siwal who was working in Moscow as a staff officer. So there is a systematic.
There is a fact here, Mr. Kichawi. Mr. Kichawi, you have got one example. Let me complete. You have got one example. Just one minute. You have got one example of a traitor called Jyoti Malhotra. You are trying to say she's a Hindu and she betrayed the country. Now let me tell you where the difference is. I want to get Shantanu. No. 1 minute. This is not an individual betraying the country. This is attempt at trying to say Khilafat.
I'm not talking
Ghazwa-e-Hind,
Muslim.
Muslim rule.
Our concept is very.
This is the idea of doing Muslim rule. Muslim rule to hone wala nahi hai.
Any ideology which
Muslim rule kaise hoga?
Humanity are
How can there be Muslim rule in a country where the 80% plus Hindu?
Our concept is very much clear, Arnab.
Now, what is your concept?
Arnab, let me say, any ideology which poses a threat to humanity, any ideology which poses a threat to humanity,
क्यों कर रहे हैं भाई? Al-Qaeda any है, Lashkar-e-Taiba any है, Jaish-e-Mohammed any है, ISIS any है. Itne terrorist groups, why are there so many Islamist terrorist groups? No, you see, you have to first understand there's a problem. Mr. Kichawi, 1 minute. Please wait. Mr. Kichawi, please wait. Mr. Kichawi, I heard you. Mr. Kichawi, please understand one thing. Trying to say any group, all groups, how many terrorist groups are there which are Islamist? Do you agree there are maximum number of Islamist terrorist groups having radicalized Islamic ideology? Do you deny that?
Karni Sena, Bajrang Dal,
we are sufferers. Arnab, we are the sufferers. Basically, we are fighting with this menace who are coming into the name of Muslims.
We are sufferers.
Creating such type of.
Khilafat kya hai?
You just
what is Khilafat?
When you're talking about Al-Qaeda,
what is Khilafat? What is
Hillary Clinton has said we created Al-Qaeda. Yes, you are talking about such people who are basically indulged in such things, are basically hatching a conspiracy against
such people, these are radicalized Muslim
in the name of Muslims.
These are radicalized Muslim
Don't tag in the name of Muslims.
No, but are they Muslim or Hindu?
They are terrorists.
Are these people Muslim or Hindu? Are they Muslim?
Anybody who is hatching any Muslim.
But are they Muslim?
You don't take like
Are you
this.
going to say they are not
Muslim?
Mr. Kichavi, the problem is, now you listen to me, sir, I heard you very much, very clearly. But please understand this. First of all, to make, Mr. Kichavi, you will have to let me speak. I don't want to speak over you. The point is, and I want to bring in Shantanu here. I believe, Shantanu, that living in denial is the most dangerous thing. Immediately, the moment you say Ghazwa-e-Hind, this is not a Hindu philosophy. Khilafat, this is not a Hindu philosophy. The creation of Pakistan was not for Hindus. It was a Muslim country by radicalized Muslim leaders like Jinnah, right? So radical. But the problem with Mr. Kichavi and people like him, they don't want to hear the reality. They will say, anybody, are they Jewish? Shantanu, can you tell him your view on
Arnab,
We've seen radicalization as the worst example.
Arnab, first of all, they are not in denial. This is a very smart strategy that in public say this, oh, there's some groups are radicalized, but when they go outside the studio, they are as radical as anyone is. What is khilafat?
Publicly you have to be secular.
Publicly you have to be secular. उसका नाम भी अल्तकिया, उनके साथ मिल जाओ, घुस जाओ.
छंगूर बाबा कौन है?
छंगूर बाबा कौन है अभी बोलेंगे नहीं कुछ.
छंगूर बाबा कौन है? एनजीओ चलाते हैं.
एनजीओ चलाते हैं, बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं, बच्चों का इलाज करते हैं. Right? And they're saying it's a two-pronged strategy. First, Khilafat movement and Gajwa Hind. In any debate, when I drop about Gajwa Hind, नहीं ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? Now it's a strategy. Gajwa Hind is a noted strategy. पता लग रहा है बार-बार. It's coming out. When you drop in a debate and say नहीं Gajwa Hind, आप कहाँ की बात कर रहे हैं? कहाँ की बात कर रहे हैं?
Those who are basically those who profess and practice such ideology, we are basically fighting with that menace. Either in the name of Al-Qaeda, ISIS, they are basically posing a threat to Islam.
How are you fighting? When Yogi Adityanath gets a survey done in Madrasa, where such education is given, this is Madrasa का survey कैसे हो सकता है? When Hemant Biswa Sarma does a survey and stops at madrasas where terrorists are born, और इनका survey कैसे हो सकता है? हम तो नहीं बताएंगे कहाँ से fund आता है. We will not tell what curriculum are we using in madrasas. वहाँ से बच्चा निकल के ISIS जाता है तो अरे ये तो एक आध radical element होगा. When they come back, Asaduddin Owaisi lends them lawyers. Asaduddin Owaisi lends them lawyers. हम तो नहीं सपोर्ट करते, हम तो नहीं सपोर्ट करते. Now it's out in open. टीवी में आके अच्छा बोलो, टीवी में आके अच्छा बोलो, पीछे से लॉयर दे दो, पीछे से फंड दे दो, पीछे से एनजीओ लगा दो. This is open and shut now. This is open and shut now. खिलाफत मूवमेंट 2021 में भी फेल हो गया था, आज भी फेल होगा. ट्राई करते रहिए.
We are setting ourselves target कि विकसित भारत by 2047.
यहाँ खिलाफत गजवा हिंद.
Now my question is, you are sitting in Lucknow. Mr. Kichavi, you will have to listen to others, please. You have to learn to be tolerant and patient. Now the question is, you are sitting in Lucknow. This whole detailed investigation has been done on this horrible man called Jalaluddin Shah.
Yeah.
Changur Baba. Now, as per all the documents and information available, the purpose of Changur Baba and his associates was to make the whole country Islamic by 2047. That India should be a Muslim majority country by 2047. ये किस तरह का target है? Now, do you believe that this was the intention of Changur Baba? I am not saying he represents all Muslims, but people like Changur Baba, people like these Khilafat people, they have to be picked up, targeted and punished. But you can't go around protecting them. You know, I'll tell you one thing, Abid. When I launched
I'm
Republic...
not protecting them. Yes, if anybody is doing anything like that...
If anybody nahi hai, it is name is Jalaluddin Shah, Changur Baba. Anybody, anything nahi hai. Huzaifa, Yaman. Anybody, anything nahi hai. Kamran Qureshi. Anybody, anything nahi hai. Ashar Danish. Anybody, anything. Sufyan nahi hai. Sufyan Abu Bakr Khan. Anybody, anything नहीं है. Ayub Ansari. Anybody, anything. All religions, secular approach नहीं है. These are radicalized Muslims. आपको problem क्या हो रहा है? Why can't you say they are radicalized Muslims?
If these people are been indoctrinated by someone,
you trace them, Arnab, you will find their roots in some madrasa.
No, indoctrinated in what?
You will find their roots in some madrasa.
Indoctrinated in what? To believe that they should kill all non-Muslims.
Indoctrinated in the sense to adopt that extreme ideology which poses a threat to humanity, to our beloved nation. Definitely they must be caught.
Like Jihad.
They must be caught. They must be treated.
Like Jihad.
Yeah, we are against them. We
Say you are against Jihad. Are you against Jihad?
Across the world in the name
are
of
you against Jihad?
ISIS,
are
Islam
you
is
against
damaged.
Jihad?
Islam's image is maligned.
Sir, are you against Jihad, Mr. Kichavi? Don't shout so much.
Yes. This is not a Jihad.
Are you against Jihad?
This is not a Jihad.
Are you against Jihad?
Jihad is basically to...
Jihad is to what?
You just understand what is Jihad. Jihad is basically to fight with your own vices.
Oh.
That is Jihad. To control your nerve. To serve the humanity. This is Jihad. That is what Sufi says. The best thing is that...
This is Al-Taqiyya. I want to tell the audience that what we are just witnessing right now.
You have got a record. You have got a record.
My question is, Samar, 1 minute. Samar.
Hillary Clinton.
Mr. Kichavi, I'd like to get Abid Mir Makami on this. You know, when I launched Republic Summer, I did a story. And in the story, we got sting operations done on many radicalized groups. Or sting operation means they didn't know that we are recording. We were recording everything and these people said we are recording. We will finish the country, we will bomb the country, we will change the country, we will use India's democracy to weaken it from within. हम democracy का फायदा उठाएंगे और फिर हम इस्लामिक रूल करेंगे, फिर terrorist groups बनाएंगे, फिर लोगों को मारेंगे, फिर पाकिस्तान जाएंगे, we'll do whatever to finish India and make it a Muslim country. Now, when I put out this story, you know, this person was picked up after Republic ran the story. They were taken to jail. By evening, the lawyers supported by Asaduddin Owaisi were in the police station.
Exactly.
And 1 year later, and they got this fellow released also. And 1 year later, let me tell you what happened. The same fellow I had done a sting operation on. Abid, listen to me. The same person who all these Muslim leaders said was an innocent person being targeted by Republic. Innocent man. We are not secular, we are communal, we are targeting him. The same innocent man was caught, I think, by Delhi police trying to do a terrorist attack on Republic Day parade. Ab us samay, Abid, all the people with your party, because you have a tie-up with All India Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin Congress and AIMM. Congratulations on your tie-up with OIC for the vice presidential elections. Now, at that time, all the Congress leaders went into hiding. But the reality is, he was a radicalized person, you know. You are the people who say Afzal Guru's hanging is wrong. Your leaders say Afzal Ji, Osama Ji, Indian occupied Kashmir. Do you see these
but
pictures?
We don't say. We say
Abid Mir Magami take a position tonight. Mr. Magami take a position tonight.
नहीं, अफजल गुरु को किस सरकार ने फांसी दी? तब तो कांग्रेस ही थी. तो कांग्रेस कैसे अपोज करेगी?
कांग्रेस ने फांसी नहीं दी, कुछ पता नहीं.
आपका तो सवाल ही पहले गलत है.
The court decides. कांग्रेस में हिम्मत है. कांग्रेस में हिम्मत है. The court decides. Are you the courts? Are you out of your mind? You don't know basic civics. कांग्रेस ने फांसी दी, कुछ भी बोलेंगे आप.
सरकार किसकी थी?
सरकार कोर्ट बनी है. कब से बनी है? क्या बात कर रहे हो आप? कुछ पता ही नहीं.
वही बात कर रहा हूं जो आपके ज़हन में पड़ रही है.
आप समझ में नहीं आ रहा है आपको. Why can't you take a position against खिलाफत terrorism?
कांग्रेस तब रूल कर रहा था, आप कांग्रेस पे इल्जाम कर रहे हो. क्या बात करते हो आप?
Basically, decided to give Afzal Guru. No, you opposed it. You opposed the hanging of Afzal Guru.
I want to put a word across now, and I want the panelists to please lend me 2 minutes.
Okay, let him finish and then you come in. Let Abid finish.
अगर नोटबंदी के बाद आतंकवाद का कमर तोड़ दिया गया था, तो ये कहां से आया?
Abid, just put me on this window only on the other side. Abid, I have a question for you. May I just ask you this question? Abid, I hope that you will not say that these terrorists who have been caught are innocent youth being caught by the BJP government because they want to target innocent Muslim youth. I hope you will not make that argument.
Administration, Delhi
because
police
that has been your old rhyme for the last 30 years.
पुलिस कार्रवाई कर रही है, तो हम क्यों कहेंगे कि ये innocent है?
क्यों? तो आप क्योंकि आप कहे आ रहे हैं ना, आपके लिए बाटला हाउस एनकाउंटर वाले भी तो innocent. बाटला हाउस वालों के लिए सोनिया गांधी रोना आता था उनको.
आतंकवादी नाथुराम गोडसे है.
क्योंकि देश का मूड बदल चुका है ना आबिद. आपको भी रियलाइजेशन हो रही है श्रीनगर में बैठ के, देश का मूड बदल चुका है. India is in a different frame of mind now. Hindus are speaking up and Muslim radicalization, Islamist radicalization is to stop.
मूड तो चेंज होते रहेंगे.
जेल क्या? आप बताइए. I don't understand. I want to bring in here. Viewers, see there is a serious act of terrorism which has been nipped in the bud. Just imagine if the evil designs of these Ghazwain types Samar would have been executed. Because these people, when we said कि कलमा test हुआ, तो ये लोग कहते थे क्या proof है?
Even whenever you drop a word Ghazwa Hind, कहते कहाँ से लिया इस theory को?
See, you must say we are against Ghazwa Hind. We are against Jihad.
इस्लाम में तो ये कोई theory नहीं है.
The problem is, Arnab, that they never openly condemn. They never in the first go agree to what is wrong. All they do is they want to be politically correct.
कह रहे हैं कि ये इस देशद्रोही है.
तुम्हारा भी कोई आंकड़ा बैठा है. You must be having somebody who is pulling the string of you.
इनके ऊपर सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए. इनको तो फांसी होनी चाहिए.
कभी condemn नहीं करते हो. You never condemn. And why is it that अगर बिहार तो इतनी प्रॉब्लम बन गया है,
आपको बात ही नहीं समझ आती है कभी. आपको कभी बात ही नहीं समझ आती है. आप पता नहीं कौन सी दुनिया में खोए रहते हो.
कि मुस्लिम की एक क्लोज्ड सोसाइटी बन रही है, हलाल सोसाइटी, ओनली फॉर मुस्लिम्स एक्सक्लूसिवली। क्या करना है? व्हाट यू वांट टू डू? व्हाट मैसेज आर यू ट्राइंग टू गिव? तुम देश तोड़ रहे हो, घुल मिल के हम यूनाइटेड रहना चाहते हैं, और तुम हिस्ट्री पर मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी को किसने तोड़ने का काम किया? आप हिस्ट्री पढ़ लो।
Audio is very bad for Samar. We'll fix the audio and bring him back. In the meantime, I'll bring Samar. I will bring Shantanu back in. Samar, I'm just going to get you. See, viewers, Abhi, the time has come for us to choose. Kichavi ji, please listen to me. Please, Kichavi ji, you listen to me. Kichavi ji, you are a prominent Muslim leader, and I believe that it becomes your responsibility in a big way to say that I will start a campaign, I will support Republic in a campaign against the radicalization of Muslims. I will fight Ghazwa-e-Hind. Today you should say, Syed Babar Ashraf Kichavi ji,
of course, I'm
say
with
that you will fight this idea of Ghazwa-e-Hind.
Yes, I'm not fight only. We are fighting. We are fighting with this man.
How are you fighting
who in the
is
name
the
of
question
Islam
Shantanu is asking.
Malign the image of the
Kichavi
Islam.
ji, I appreciate your sentiment, but अभी देखिए ये मांग रहे हैं हकीकत और
4-5 things are you doing?
One minute, just one minute. शांतनु आपको क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं. So शांतनु जी हैं इधर. शांतनु जी, ये आपको शांतनु गुप्ता एक सवाल पूछ रहे हैं. He's asking you a question. You can't say I'm fighting. Today, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is we have been saved from another Pahalgam.
Exactly.
This could have happened anywhere in the country, and then we'll keep debating it on television.
Yeah.
Khilafat module, Ghazwa-e-Hind, state of denial. कोई इसको कहे तो कहेंगे रिपब्लिक कम्युनल है. रिपब्लिक ओनली चैनल है जो इस पर कहता है. हम सूडो सेकुलर चैनल नहीं है किचावी जी. मगर आपको भी अपना नजरिया बदलना होगा. आप कब तक इधर बैठ के कहेंगे कुछ नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है? बाटला हाउस में कुछ नहीं है था. नहीं, you have to stop this defensive approach. You have to lead the battle against Islamic radicalization, Islamist radicalization.
We are having for our beloved nation.
नेशन तो छंगूर बाबा के लिए कैंपेन कीजिए ना, पीस मार्च कीजिए, कैंडल लाइट
विजिट. You are not here to decide what kind of love and affection we are having.
I am not deciding. I am saying don't be in denial. Shantanu, I am saying you and I work towards a
We are not in denial mode. We are not in denial mode.
You are in denial mode, sir. Sorry, but you are.
Yes, there is a problem.
We matlab
yes, people are
you
indoctrinated.
Personally, I am saying.
Yes, somebody.
Now, who is that somebody? Why Changur Baba has to be found out by the government? Why the society? Why the Samaj? Why the masjid nearby? I am not able to identify it. इतने लोग जो मस्जिद में जाते हैं क्यों नहीं पहचान पाए Changur Baba क्या कर रहे हैं? What are you doing exactly in the curriculum of madrasas? Have you revised the curriculum of madrasas in last many years? पता है आपको क्या पढ़ रहे हैं आपके बच्चे वहाँ पे मदरसा में? मदरसा से लड़के क्यों ISIS में जा रहे हैं? आपने चेक करा? आपने उनका साइको एनालिसिस करा क्या? वापस आके उनको लीगल एड कौन देता है? Who gives them the legal aid? चेक करा आपने? Have you asked Asaduddin Owaisi that why are you giving legal aid to ISIS terrorists? पूछा कभी जाके? टीवी में आके अच्छी बातें करेंगे.
Let me complete.
वही सर
आप मदरसे पे टारगेट कर रहे हो. 1857 में वो सारे लोग जिन्होंने आजाद 1857 में अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ अपनी जानें दी, वो सब के सब मदरसे के पढ़े हुए थे. They all were.
आज देखिए ना.
They all were guided.
Have you checked the madrasa curriculum? What are they teaching? Because the videos that come out of madrasas are very troubling.
52,000
The videos that come out of madrasas are very troubling.
52,000% sacrificed their life. They were hanged.
Not going back to 1857.
Human bomb ban rahe ho.
I am talking about today.
Colonial operations.
I am talking about today.
So we are against this one.
Please open your eyes. We have just. Okay, viewers, I'll tell you again. This is a Pakistan-inspired terrorist group which wanted to carry out war on the country and major attacks across the country and have targeted killings. Please wake up, sir. Realize today, दुनिया में क्या हो रही है? Radicalize होने में लोगों जरूरत नहीं है.
You are right, Arnab. You talk about the Pakistani interest. You talk about the US interest.
Sir, I talk about Pakistan.
You talk about Western powers interest. They want to create chaos in our beloved.
So why you get irritated? Pakistani interest बोल दिया तो. US interest we are discussing. Nepal story. Everybody is discussing US interest. पाकिस्तानी इंटरेस्ट से इतना क्यों
I'm
दिक्कत
telling
होती है आपको?
you, US is creating, West is creating, Pakistan is creating.
Okay.
Pakistan has
Mr.
been used
Kichavi,
as a tool.
I'll go to Samar. My
Pakistan
concern is this.
They
My
take ownership
concern is
of
this.
Pakistan.
You no longer have you arrested 5 people. You know the only thing that has changed, viewers. If this had happened 2 years back or 3 years back or pre-Pahalgam, immediately by evening, Congress leaders, MIM leaders, other leaders would be saying the innocent youth have been targeted because they are Muslim. The only good thing, Samar, is that is not happening now.
Is very much same.
No, this argument was used for decades. I have grown up with this argument. Every time you catch someone, if it's a Muslim, you will proclaim innocence on the basis of the person's faith.
Yeah.
How fair is that? Because a youth caught for terrorism is Muslim, he is going to be innocent.
And so much so.
And according to Sonia Gandhi's communal violence bill, Hindus are the perpetrators and Muslims are the victims. Is that secularism? And if I speak about these things, show these hypocrisies, you will say that I am right-wing.
Arnab,
No, sir, this is not right.
Arnab,
I want Samar to come in here. Samar to come. I'm showing the mirror, viewers. Republic, remember, is the only channel that shows the mirror. Samar.
I did not
Samar,
have said
I need to
they
hear
are
Samar.
Muslims and they
With
are
due
not
respect,
culprits.
please let me put my case forward. With due respect, sir, पहली चीज तो आप मुझे बताएं, जब भी कोई
Can't hear you. Please unmute yourself. Oh, I have lost the audio line. It's really sad today. It's really sad. I'm going to get him back because I really want to hear him.
Arnab, one thing you will accept that their foreign powers are there. कुछ बाहरी ताकतें हैं जो हमारे मुल्क के अंदर डिस्टर्बेंस करना चाहती हैं and they are using these people as a tool to distract us.
Where are these बाहरी ताकतें? Are they in Qatar? Are they in Doha?
Yes, I do accept. Pakistani भी है, US भी है, West भी है. Yes,
but when you challenge Pakistan, you get
Pakistanis are doing in Kashmir. Pakistan is doing in India. They have done in Pahalgam.
आपके तो समाजवादी पार्टी के सांसद बोलते हैं तालिबान अच्छा है. And you know, Arnab, can you imagine that?
We never have said. We said yes, Al-Qaeda has nothing.
Akhilesh Yadav asked for the mercy
from
High Court of Allahabad. Akhilesh Yadav.
What Akhilesh is studying, we are not concerned.
बाद में वो सब जेल में गए.
We don't play soft politics.
Life sentence.
We don't play we don't make such a statement.
Samar is back, Samar.
Okay.
Yes, Samar.
Such it. I am not Akhilesh. I am not Akhilesh.
My submission is, sir, with due respect, आपने कभी भी पब्लिक में अवाम को बोला है कि जिहाद की तरफ मत जाओ? जब जिहाद की बात आती है सब चुप हो जाते हैं. और ऐसा क्यों है? First tell me one thing, why is it that all the Muslim youth are into this?
वेक सा सवाल है.
ये वेक सवाल नहीं है. It is not a वेक सवाल. It is a सवाल.
If you don't understand what is jihad, you are putting a finger on it. I already have told in Sufism it is to control your nerve, to fight your inner vices.
इसका एक ही solution है.
Sir, I want to say one thing. We must be a realistic country. And I feel very bad that while we are discussing this, there are some people who are preparing to play cricket with Pakistan on Sunday. And I want to make a statement in that context. Yeah. I want to say with pride that the Republic Media Network will boycott any coverage of the India-Pakistan match. I call upon all the other media groups of the country to boycott the coverage of the India-Pakistan match. Yeah. It is against our national interest. It is beyond politics. Had par ho chuki hai. We are being told that India-Pakistan match will go on because Rajiv Shukla wants the match. Yeah. What nonsense is this? The BCCI should stop it. I don't care about anyone. I am saying here today, ladies and gentlemen, I am making an announcement, breaking news. The Republic Media Network will boycott coverage of the India-Pakistan match, which should never have been allowed to take place. It is a blot for the country that here they want to carry out terrorism and we are like, because some people want to make money. I call upon the broadcasters of this match. I don't care who it is. They must immediately withdraw the coverage of the match. I call upon the rest of the media networks of the country to join the Republic Media Network. We are leading from the front. We will boycott the coverage of this match. This match must not be allowed. Do you agree with me, all of you, on this?
Yes.
Yes. Too far have things gone in this country.
Agree. Yes, we agree.
On the one
we
side, Pahalgam, on the one side, Operation Sindoor, on the one side, the terrorists being caught, Khilafat module, and on the other side, people are playing cricket with Pakistan. I call upon all the sponsors to pull out. I call upon the people of India to call out the sponsors. I call upon the broadcasters to promise. I call upon all the broadcasters, any match, I don't care bilateral or multilateral. I call upon all the broadcasters to promise today to the people of this country they will not show any India-Pakistan cricket. खेलना है तो खेलो जाके दुबई में, खेलना है तो खेलो वहां पे शारजा में, but कोई भारत में ना देखे ना दिखाया जाए इसको.
Exactly.
Are you agree with me on this?
Exactly. No comments about it.
This is just ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope the rest of the media also follows our call. We will boycott the coverage of the India-Pakistan match. We call upon the sponsors to pull out. We call upon the broadcasters to pull out. We call upon national interest to prevail. We call upon national interest to be the only call for the country. We call upon the nationalist collective to raise their voice on it. We must not be subjected to the ignominy of letting an India-Pakistan match happen just a few weeks after Operation Sindoor. We can keep fighting among ourselves on all these issues. But that is my position. And if you support the Republic Media Network, make it viral, ladies and gentlemen. I call upon you, make it viral, put the pressure. I call upon no Indian should be there at the venue of the match. I don't care we win or lose. I call upon the players. I call upon the players, I call upon the Indian umpires not to be there for this match, which is an insult to the people of India. I've said it there, ladies and gentlemen. And moving on for the moment, what has happened in Nepal, we need to be very careful about. I called it out first that it is not protest that's happening in Nepal, it is a deep state conspiracy. There is more than meets the eye. And now we have the admission. One of the protesters, and I'll run his visuals now, who got shot in the face and chest during the recent unrest, says that the protest was infiltrated. I'm not saying it. One of the lead protesters there, he says this was infiltrated, criminals entered it, and there were elements managing this unrest. This was in the course of a podcast with Niranjan. I want to play out a clip of that podcast. Do we have the clip? Okay, I think I'll just pull out the clip in a while. But before that, I welcome Kamal Sibbal, our former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, and Rami Desai, well-known author and policy analyst. Thank you, Rami. And Dushyant Sridhar also with us today. Now, I have not run the news story, but I'll tell you the sum total of it, Dr. Sibbal, that the students are coming out, the protesters are coming out and saying that we had something in mind. At some stage, it was orchestrated, it was infiltrated, and it was being organized from outside. That admission is very important. How do you view it, sir? Mr. Sibbal, and what are your concerns for India?
Couple of points. One is that our neighborhood has got very highly disturbed. Of course, Pakistan was always a problem, but we saw Sri Lanka disturbed, Bangladesh disturbed, and now Nepal highly disturbed. And it is the youth that have led the movements in these three countries. And there has been the same kind of arson in different degrees in the three countries. In Sri Lanka, if you remember, they burned down the residence of Vikramasinghe.
Yeah.
And in Bangladesh, they burned down anything that was connected to Mujibur Rahman, trying to efface the history of the liberation movements. And in Nepal, they've gone even further. They have burned down the parliament, they burned down the residences of the prime minister. They have attacked physically. And this is something new. The former prime ministers, foreign ministers, finance ministers, beaten them publicly, extremely ugly. Now, who would be interested in destabilizing our neighborhood? Of course, there's no clear answer, and one has to be a little careful about conspiracy theories. But this has happened. And behind this is social media and the mobilization that occurs through social media. Now, who controls this social media? That we know. Other than that, we've seen. Now, again, I don't want to unnecessarily blame any country. But we know that US has been very active in Sri Lanka. It's been much more visibly active in Bangladesh. They wanted Hasina out. They got Hasina out. They put Yunus as prime minister there. They parachuted him there. And in Nepal, as you know, a few years ago, they insisted that Nepal accepts $450 million or something, for some programs in Nepal, which included this is not the core of it, promoting atheism in Nepal. In other words, strengthen the secular state. So all this perhaps was being done by lobbies. I don't necessarily mean the US government, but lobbies in the democracy promotion lobbies in the United States organizations who may be trying to inculcate in the society certain views and thinking, political and social, which then creates an atmosphere in which these things can erupt, especially if the governance is poor, is corrupt.
But it's been happening in India also, Mr. Sibal. Sorry to interrupt. In Nepal, in 2022, Samantha Paz, who's known for regime change, she was the then administrator of USAID. She commits $60 million, not a small amount. That'd be about 500 crore rupees, maybe in today's terms, or maybe more, 600, 700 crores in today's terms, to quote-unquote strengthen democratic institutions and civil society in Nepal. Very trendy words, Gen Z, civil society, democratic institutions, blah, blah, blah. Now, in India also, Rami, after Narendra Modi's third term was, the elections in which the BJP got a reduced majority, the US Embassy organized paid events where certain YouTubers and influencers were called to carry out and their sponsorships. Money has been given to Indian journalists, people who run websites and YouTubes. Lots of thousands of US dollars are given to sort of strengthen democratic institutions. How do we know the same attempts are not being made here in India? And how do we de-link the money spent by USAID towards things like what they call strengthening inclusive democracy, another 20 million, supporting civil society and media, ambiguous investment 18.5 million, big money bolstering local elections. These are all direct interference, and it's happening here in India as well. So what are your thoughts, Rami?
Arnab, good evening. First of all, it's great to be back on your show. But,
yes.
I remember very well during the CA protests that I was on your show very often, and we used to look at this very deeply and very minutely of how strategically and, it was almost as if a map had been laid down, not just for NGOs, but certain voices and international media organizations to misrepresent what the law itself was about. I still remember a very important magazine from the United Kingdom who had its India correspondent write that the CA will not just impact the minorities in India, but it would disproportionately impact the female minorities because they don't have any documentation. This is the kind of stuff that was published. When we look at Bangladesh also, I think observers like me who look at South Asia had started writing about international interference 2 years before the regime change happened. I think it was there for everybody to see. And when the US aid finances were brought out in public post the Trump dispensation coming into power, it was made very clear that there were student groups that were being supported, there was money being funneled through NGOs, and we have seen this happen over and over again. This is just Bangladesh, that is just CAA, but even if you look at Myanmar, USAID was funding the resistance, the NUG, the National Unity Government in Exile, wherein it has not much to do with a country so far away from its geographical location or imagination. So we have to sort of accept that, whether this is a lobby or you want to call it a group of people or you want to call it corporations, but there is a concerted effort to have influence in countries that they may have certain vested interests in. And I think to completely disregard that as a conspiracy theory, and yes, I agree with Ambassador Sibal that we have to be wary of conspiracy theories, but to completely disregard it is also probably...
It's not a conspiracy theory. It may sound, you see, because I'll put it this way, Rami, and I'll go across to Dushyant and go back to Mr. Sibal, because it is not in the realm of our thinking or because the mainstream media does not talk about it. We sometimes say these things are conspiracy theories. However, you are an expert on the Northeast. The idea of a Christian cookie land is very real. The idea of carving out a Christian nation out of parts of Northeast, Myanmar and Bangladesh is very real. The fact that the Americans wanted to have a military base in St. Martin's Island is very real. If we say it, we'll be told you're conspiracy theorists. Now I want to go back to the playbook. The playbook used here is that you amplify it when the government tries to control it, because government panics. Then there is a curfew, shutdown, and then a government sometimes uses lethal force. Then there are casualties that delegitimizes the government, and protest then moves, elites fracture, military comes in, changeover is complete. It's a pure playbook. We've seen this repeated. Your thoughts, Dushyant, because now the students are saying, we don't know who took over. We started it, but we don't know who took over.
Namaskaram, Arnab, and namaskaram to all my fellow panelists. I heard them very carefully. I would just like to pick my points from the place where Sibalji left. Now that we are living in a very strong social media era, I completely trust my government, both at this and all these states, with a very robust mechanism. Probably that should be done on war footing. Even before any inflammatory video, fake video gets viral, I think it should be pulled down from the social media. So we should have a very robust social media team, because I'm sure, because we are a very young country with at least 600 to 700 million of our population less than the age of 30, who are completely hooked to social media. That is the bedrock. That is going to be the fireplace. And today being 11th September, the day when Bharatiyar, the freedom poet from Tamil Nadu, passed away, he says, Agni kunjondru kanden adai aange marappundil vaiten. He says, what causes forest fire is not a big fire. It is just a spark. So it's very important that we take note of it. And one more point, Arnab, we have three things that can always cause unrest. One is religion, second is caste, third is language. We have had some tussles in the last few years with respect to either religion or language or caste. So we should be very vigilant that foreign elements do not play their hands with these three portions. And last of all, Arnab, being a person who reads the scriptures of Sanatana Dharma, two instances. One in the Ramayana where Hanuman burns Lanka, because we saw what happened in Sri Lanka. But Hanuman, when he burned, he ensured that he did not trouble the aged, the pregnant, the women, and the couples. But when we look at the unrest that's happening across the neighborhood countries, it is not a dharmic fire. It seems to target even the civilians, and it does cause unrest amongst the commoners as well. So we should be very vigilant, because in the Mahabharata, the Panchapandavas were put into a palace and they were burnt. So we should be very vigilant about things happening around us, and that should help us solve a lot of things.
No, absolutely it should. But, we already have a smear campaign going on here in India. A lot of people are comparing what happened in Nepal to what happened in India. And for the unguided, for those who are not aware, Mr. Sibal, it's very easy to mislead them. People who are not aware, I would add one thing, and I want Mr. Sibal to come in on it, because he's a man with great experience in government. Mr. Sibal, Dushyant mentioned three things of division: religion, caste, and language. To that, would it not be also necessary to use the element of doubt, where you begin to disbelieve your country's institutions? You begin to have doubt in the country's institutions, which can then be instigated through a social media campaign. And secondly, in your years of experience in diplomacy working with foreign governments, what about the use of covert agencies to execute these matters? Doesn't it become easier than what this is? Yeah, please.
Yes, of course. The covert agencies are very active in India. The point is that, fortunately for us, we are a very, very big country. And it's very, very difficult to have a unified revolution of sorts or agitation, street agitation, which would have all India dimension, which will then bring down the government. It's impossible in our country.
But Rahul Gandhi keeps talking about starting a fire. He says the fire will spread.
The fire will be localized in India's case. You mentioned Manipur and all that. Those are very vulnerable places. And we know that there is foreign interference there. You would recall what the previous US ambassador was saying. He was offering to help us in Manipur, which is absolutely ridiculous. In an internal matter of a sovereign country, a foreign ambassador offers help to resolve an internal issue. It was ridiculous. But fortunately, as I said, we are very big. And then, we have opposition parties which are ruling so many states in India. We have elections all the time in various states where the ruling party, the BJP, has to prove its mettle and win the elections. So there is actually a democratic process which is continuing all the time in our country. And then, of course, we have very strong social welfare programs.
When you use students as cannon fodder,
control over the social media.
No,
the
easiest way.
Because it is absolutely imperative that we have strong control over social media, which we don't have. And
but if you have strong control over social media, you will be told you're non-democratic. So, Rami, how does one deal with that?
Arnab, I have to say this, there might be some similarities, but there are many, many differences between what's happening in Nepal and India. But the fact of the matter is, as you have pointed out, that young impressionable minds more often than not are used to complete certain agendas, and this legitimizing of protests that turn into anarchy, that dissent, it's okay for dissent to turn into anarchy, is a very, very dangerous precedent to set for any society. However, in this day and age of social media, in this day and age of the information warfare, I don't think it's possible to completely limit or completely safeguard ourselves. I think what really works for us, as said by the previous speaker, is the fact that we are a large enough country wherein some rationality prevails. But at times, like we've seen previously, whether it was the farmers' protests, whether it was CA, that it does go out of hand. We have to have control on international funding coming into India. I think to a large extent that has been done via the FCR becoming more stringent. I also have to look for individuals. In Manipur, Arnab, very well, there were international elements that were found on ground actively inciting.
Manipur, Rami, the media, the international media reached Churachangpur, I think a day before the incident actually happened. It almost as if they had advanced knowledge. My last quick word, sorry to intervene from Dushyant. Dushyant, what about this whole phrase that is oft repeated? America has told the whole world, democratic backsliding. Narendra Modi gets elected, democratic backsliding. Yogi Adityanath gets elected chief minister, democratic backsliding. Unless their own government is in place, it's democratic backsliding. So, they've used this word in Bangladesh to delegitimize the process, and now Congress is doing the same thing here.
Arnab, this is just my reaction to it. If I don't like a person, even if the person is democratically elected, I will still call it, I'll still call the process bad. I will say the system is rotten. That is true of any so-called liberal these days.
True.
So that's a playbook that is being played across countries, and they will surely raise doubts on.
They will try to.
Function. Yeah, they will try to.
They will try to, and we have to be very. I believe that when I come back at 9 o'clock, I'll tell you why, viewers. I genuinely believe that the forces are out. The dangerous YouTubers are getting excited thinking that Nepal will happen in India. We must be watchful of them and take them on through every legal means that we have. When I'm back.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.